Why is it always, did you hear about that triple homicide, and never did you hear about the great Canadian maple syrup heist of 2012? This is a hot dog is a sandwich.
Ketchup is a smoothie.
Yeah, I put ice in my cereal, so what?
That makes no sense.
A hot dog is a sandwich.
A hot dog is a sandwich.
What?
Welcome to our podcast, A Hot Dog is a Sandwich. I'm your host, Josh Scherer.
And I'm Nicole Enayati.
And we're internet chefs over on the Good Mythical Morning and Mythical Kitchen channels for those of y'all who don't know. And when we're not making stuff like Wagyu Big Macs and Mountain Dew Twinkies, we're over here settling the world's biggest food debates.
Wow, that was so natural, Josh.
Yeah, we're trying a new little intro
I
there
loved
for
it.
those of you who have been here for a while.
Seamless, honey, seamless.
Do people even know who we are, what we do? We haven't reintroduced ourselves in a long time.
Some people might know who we are and what we do, but I think the fact that some don't is kind of exciting.
And also, I think we're allowed to reintroduce and reinvent ourselves. We've been doing this for 3 years.
Have we really been doing
It's
this?
been more than 3 years
It
at this
feels
point.
like just yesterday you dragged me out of my prep and were like, hey, you want to talk about pineapples being on pizza for an hour? And I'm like, I ain't got nothing better to do.
Yeah, and I was like, I wrote a 5,000-word essay that I'm going to try and recite line for line in this podcast because that's how we think podcasts are done.
It was really beautiful, but
Thank you.
It was not right.
We're here. Nicole, reintroduce yourself. Tell the people what's changed over your life in the last 3 years.
Hi, I'm Nicole Enayati. I'm 29 years old. I recently got married about a year and a half ago to my lovely husband, David. We have 2 cats named Harvey and Missy, and life's been pretty wonderful. I've been promoted to senior culinary producer, last year?
Sounds like that Mazel Tov. You did it.
Yeah, and life's beautiful and life's great, and I'm excited for all the new things that we're gonna do this year.
Let's hold on, Nicole. Let's go back to your wedding. What I loved most about it is that you had a live electric saxophonist and also at least 3 different cultures grilled meat on sticks.
Yeah, that was intentional.
that was a good time.
That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
intentional. I was like, maybe we should do a veg. And I'm like, no.
Yep,
Like,
meat
okay.
on sticks. And oh my God, the fruit display. You should have the gooseberries.
It's all about the goose. The more exotic fruits you have at a Persian wedding, the higher your rank is in society. I wish I was getting.
So today we are discussing what is the highest ranked fruit in
No,
Persian
we're not.
wedding culture. Nicole, rambutan, how do you feel about it?
False. We are talking about true crime stories that are somehow related to food.
Okay, so we want to do this because this is not a shameless attempt at grabbing views, but
No.
true crime, it has been the most popular podcast genre for the last 10 years?
It's interesting.
It's massive. And I've gone through my own true crime. I listened to a lot of Last Podcast on the Left, a lot of My Favorite Murder, Crime
Yeah.
Junkies,
Sure.
great show called Fraudsters. So we both enjoy true crime, but we've never talked about it. Our own personal favorite true crime food stories, and there are a lot of them. And there's one that's particularly interesting to me because I feel like I sort of stumbled upon this myself a little bit through natural life events. So this is the great whale meat scandal of Santa Monica back in 2010.
Wow,
It happened
okay.
right in our backyard in Santa Monica. 2 sushi chefs were not arrested, but they were convicted, never served jail time for illegally selling endangered whale meat out of a
Holy
sushi restaurant.
crap.
And the way I found out about this, it kind of came around in a crazy full circle. I used to date a lawyer, right?
Correct.
Lawyers are into some weird stuff. Let's get that out there.
And what do you mean?
When you got a lot of money to spend, you're a high-powered lawyer.
You're chasing new highs all the time.
Sure, exactly.
Okay,
And I
okay.
didn't really know this. We were hanging out. It was like the spouse of a friend, not naming any names here. But we were having dinner together and we're talking about restaurants because I was a food writer. And he goes,
Okay.
yeah, my favorite restaurant, man, it closed down, unfortunately, but it was called Typhoon. You ever been?
That sounds familiar.
It was near the Santa Monica airport, I think.
Did it have really crazy lighting?
Yeah, it was
it was
some
like Typhoon.
It was weirdly themed, and this kind of sexy sushi of the 90s restaurant.
sure.
It was owned by, or the restaurant was also called The Hump. It was 2. Anywho,
It was called The Hump.
it was right, the hump and the hump of a whale, and this all comes full circle later because, as you already know, they was selling whale meat. And I remember talking to this high-powered corporate lawyer guy, and he goes, "Yeah, they serve some real interesting things there." And I'm like,
Oh gosh.
what are you talking about, dude? What kind of interesting? He goes, yeah, they had these special themed parties, and it was the Eyes Wide Shut version.
Oh my god, that's exactly where my mind
somebody
went.
trying to communicate this to me, and I didn't think much of it. Eventually, I am writing about this new restaurant called Ramen Roll.
Okay.
It was a rock and roll themed ramen, sushi, and gelato spot that made absolutely no sense. And it was in part founded, this is in Culver City, it was founded by Adam Fleischman, who is the Umami Burger
Oh, sure.
guy, but
I know
who
that guy.
had a kind of really strange break in reality where he started a website devoted to like quantum business mechanics and was trying to sell a weird sort of pyramid scheme thing. It never made sense. Anywho, and so it was him. It was the inventor of the video game Crash Bandicoot, and then a sushi
There
chef.
are so many buzzwords that you're saying right
that's
now.
why I love this story so much. So you have Umami Burger guy who tries to start a weird business themed cult, the inventor of Crash Bandicoot, who I think there's also a little bit of shadiness around him, and then sushi chef Kiyoshiro Yamamoto. And I was like, this name sounds familiar.
Okay.
And so I Googles it. He is a sushi chef who was arrested for selling whale meat at Typhoon that this weird high-powered lawyer sort of intimated at me that was going down. And how it actually went down is a full-on sting operation led by marine mammal activists who were answering to the director of the movie The Cove, the Oscar-winning documentary film about the Taiji dolphin drive hunt in Japan.
So what does this have? Okay, so dolphins and whales, where is the intersection?
Oh, huge intersection. So basically dolphining and whaling, the hunting methods are the same.
Okay.
And they've been trying to sort of illegalize, like there's a thing called the IWC, the International Whaling Commission. They've been trying to sort of illegalize whale hunting because of conservation means. A lot of species are endangered. But there's a lot of weird cultural factors, cultural and economic, of course.
That makes sense, okay.
Because you have, like, Aboriginal whaling rights where, like,
Sure.
we've been hunting whales for thousands of years.
Yeah, I'm on whale hunting TikTok. Or what not whale hunting TikTok. What is it? Like people
like the Inuit with they're making maktuk.
Inuit muktuk TikTok is what I'm on.
Yeah, they're where they make the cured whale blubber and they eat it.
Yeah, and they eat it with that special knife. It's very interesting.
So that's a little bit different than commercial whale hunting and commercial dolphining. But commercial whale hunting, especially in Japan, I didn't realize this. This is going off on some tangents, but
super tangenty. But what else is new?
General Douglas MacArthur, who was sort of in charge of the Pacific. He was in charge of the Pacific Theater for the American troops, and he was also sort of in charge of like the American settlement in East Asia after World War II.
Okay.
So basically, what
is the Pacific Theater?
Pacific Theater was like, so the war was happening on continental Europe. We'll get back to Crash Bandicoot. World War II.
Okay.
The big one.
Okay.
So you had like, everything going on in Europe, right? And then you also had like all these naval battles in Papua New Guinea, in Midway, operations going on in Japan, basically fighting the Japanese Navy.
Sure.
So Douglas MacArthur, basically, we nuked Japan. This is all very reductionist. We nuked Japan, and then MacArthur's there, and he's like, we got to figure out how to like stimulate the economy so we can get them back on their feet, right?
Okay.
And have good relations with them. And part of his thing was like, commercial whaling, baby, do it. But whaling been a part of Japanese culture for a long time. Anyways, where they were getting this whale, the sushi chefs, and they only sold it for $85, which I find fascinating.
Well, inflation.
Feel like
now, what would it be? Like $95?
I guess, I don't know. It seems pretty cheap. But it was an endangered sei whale, SEI.
Okay.
And they were serving it they were serving whale bacon. They were serving whale sashimi. And you sort of had to like be in the know to get it. They didn't just put it on the menu, of course, because it was highly illegal. And the way they were getting this whale meat was through the Japanese, quote, scientific research whaling. So apparently there were exemptions in Japan where you could still hunt whales if you just painted the word research on your boat. And they would always get caught and they'd be like, oh, we're just collecting samples for research. And it was this weird loophole that literally everybody knew.
Oh my gosh.
Was like, yo, not cool. But people didn't want to deal with it. So anyways, this sting operation is set up by the director of The Cove, and he has people reporting to him. And they're two young activists. Hold up. I wrote some stuff down because I wanted to remember all this. Okay, so there were two activists, and they were sort of answering to this guy, the director of The Cove. I forgot his name. Louis Cijoyos, I think it's pronounced. But anywho, so they were served whale during 3 separate visits to the restaurant, and then federal labs confirmed where the meat actually came from.
Okay, so pause.
Go ahead.
Pause. So 3 separate servings of whale.
Okay, so
how did they order it?
So this is an awesome part of it. So what they did is they effectively went undercover for months. They would go to this restaurant, they would get the omakase, and they would increasingly ask for more exotic animals.
Oh,
and then in interviews with the two activists afterwards, they'd be like, I'm just so sad. I didn't want to eat all these endangered species, but I had to finally get to the whale meat. And it's really wild that was the thing. Like It was like in what's the Matthew McConaughey? Time is a flat circle. Everything you've ever done.
Interstellar?
Again. No, that wasn't Interstellar. True Detective.
Oh,
it's like in True
sorry.
Detective where he
I'm
goes.
so sorry that I don't know Matthew McConaughey quotes off the cuff. What do you think this is?
You know what I love about them high school girls.
You know, I actually heard that quote many times this weekend.
I thought. Wait, about. High school girls, or about, because I say it about rookie wide receivers in the NFL. I go, you know what I love about rookie wide receivers? I keep getting older, they just stay the same age. And that's a reference to a lot of highly productive young wide receivers in the NFL.
Okay, so they would increasingly ask for more exotic animals, and they would serve other endangered. Why are you laughing?
Because what they did, it's hilarious.
So they would eat other endangered animals to get to the whale meat.
Yeah, I don't know if it was like
What other-
how endangered. They didn't document any of the other ones because these people
That's
are
shady.
very focused on whale and dolphin. And so what they did
Okay,
eventually.
whatever. That's called erasure, and I don't like that.
I agree with that. Well, this kind of gets into the whole thing for me about speciesism and which animals we care about and which ones we don't.
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah.
some are actually critically endangered
Yeah.
that decrease biodiversity in the planet, and that's bad, whatever. But if you just think one animal's cuter than another, ergo you should not eat it. There's a lot of cute animals. You ever see Babe, Pig in the City? Nicole, that was a metropolitan pig, and we're out here eating sausage.
That's fine. Okay, I have one other question
Go ahead.
before you continue. How would they test to see that they ate whale meat? Was it poop or mouth?
No, neither. So what they did is they just pocketed it, which, as somebody who's been thrown out
No
of
way.
a sushi restaurant for...
Wait. You mean to tell me they order like an omakase menu
Yeah.
and they go like this?
Yum! And just put it in their
Yum!
purse. Yeah.
Like some sort of magician from like 3rd grade?
You ever go to an all-you-can-eat sushi restaurant?
Yes, of course.
You know how they charge you for leftover rice?
Yeah, sure.
You have to eat everything on your plate, or else they charge you menu price for whatever you didn't eat because you're
Yeah,
wasting
but
food.
like omakase is one piece and people watch you eat it.
I know. What I'm saying is I've gone to all-you-can-eat sushi and we ordered way too much, and then I tried to ball all the rice up and put it in my friend's purse, and they caught us and they kicked us out and they made us pay for it.
No, but you don't understand. Like that's whatever. You're just like latte dime. Like that's fine. Like when you're
Yeah,
doing
omakase is intimate.
Omakase, like the chef, like even though they're chopping, they like watch you eat it.
Yeah, I know.
Especially the one thing that's the most illegal. This sushi chef, he
So-
didn't do it right.
I agree with that. Listen. This is not a condemnation of the sushi chef nor the activists. I think
if
everybody was
someone-
just doing what they wanted to do.
No, I'm just saying, if someone orders the illegal thing on the menu and you don't see them eat it, that's your fault.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's your fault.
They did not cover their bases.
You should cover your bases.
You should cover if you're serving illegal whale meat, well, there's another funny detail about covering their bases. So eventually, right, they put it in their pocket and they get it tested at a lab. They confirm it is indeed this endangered
This is
species
so
of whale.
Stupid. I'm so mad.
And then they didn't just you can't just call the cops and be like, hey, LAPD, there's whale meat
Yeah,
afoot.
I imagine.
So what they did is they contacted agents from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, and they didn't just send in agents or whatever. What they did is they went undercover. I have a feeling that to confirm. And so they went there and they ordered the omakase, and apparently they watched Chef Yamamoto. They ordered the whale, and then Chef Yamamoto goes to his car and grabs a plastic wrapped thing of meat and starts serving it up. If you are at an omakase restaurant, if you are at any restaurant, and you see the chef go to their car to get just a wrapped bloody package, probably just don't eat it.
Maybe he was on an episode of Pimp My Ride and Exhibit put a freezer in the back of his car.
Yo, dog, I heard you're a high-end sushi chef that serves illegal whale meat. So we put a whale dry aging fridge in the back of your 2006 Prius.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess so. And anyways, that is when they made their move. And so nobody actually served jail time. Yamamoto was sentenced to 2 years probation and a $5,000 fine and 200 hours of community service. The restaurant was fined $30,000.
Oh, beans.
And then the chef just continued to work in sushi restaurants. And who knows if they are serving, what they're doing these days. We hope they're clean. We hope they've learned. We hope they've reformed. We all hope criminals do, second chance at life. But to me, this is just a personal favorite. Absolutely hilarious
That's
story.
a good true crime story.
Here's a quote from one of the undercover people.
Okay.
It was so heartbreaking to eat an endangered animal, but I knew that I was doing it to save the whales. We were there eating for 4 hours. I felt so full and sick.
4 hours of omakase? That's a long... Okay, see?
It's like if you're undercover in the Hells Angels, and it's you gotta beat up a guy to earn your keep. This is we had to prove that we were down with the omakase by eating all these endangered eels or whatever.
It's crazy. 4 hours is a long time to spend anywhere other than work.
I have a feeling that they just wanted to jam on some endangered species and then had regrets afterwards.
That's what I'm thinking.
You know?
I mean, I appreciate the work and the effort that went into it. 4 hour omakase?
Give me that.
What are you, a diplomat? I hate you.
If y'all have any leads on any food crimes going on, I will absolutely go undercover and eat anything you need to. And that's a fact. If you think there's endangered turtles being sold,
hero. You're a true hero.
At some French restaurant, I'll go eat my way through that entire menu to ingratiate myself with them. Just give me a little corporate card. Give me that little corpy card, and I'm down. I'll eat it all. 4 hours, that's nothing for me. I'll do a 12-hour meal.
Oh my gosh! Imagine 12-hour meal. No thanks.
No.
Sitting down.
What's the longest contiguous meal you've been to?
I don't know, Shabbat dinner at my grandma's house. That's it. But
You've never gone to one of those tasting menus that's just a 6 hour.
No, I don't think I ever will. I have other things to do.
I did once at Providence. It's a 2 Michelin starred spot. I didn't pay for it because it was a media dinner.
How long was it?
It was 6 hours and it was 12 glasses of wine, which is
what
pretty sick.
What would you do if Providence was selling whale meat?
I'm not morally.
What would you do?
I'm not saying I'm
Josh, this is true crime. This is crime that really happened. It's true as nothing.
I'm not a snitch. I will not snitch on anybody for anything.
Why? Because snitches get stitches?
No, because it's not your business. If something this kind of comes up if you just witness. If I see somebody getting beat up on the street, I will rush in.
That's good.
Because there's danger, right?
Good for you.
I'll do that. It's something bad, something materially bad is happening to somebody. If I see somebody shoplifting at Rite Aid, I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, I know.
No, nobody's getting hurt.
I wouldn't do that.
And so that's my just general moral. So no, if somebody's serving whale meat, I'm just I wouldn't eat it. But I don't know. To me, it's very silly the way that we distinguish.
What's
what
good
is
and bad,
legal and what's not. The moral farming practices are so bad as they are. Who's to say?
Josh, your story was great. But,
thank you.
But boy, oh boy, do I have another one.
Oh, hit me with it, Nicole.
Okay. So this is the story of doppelgangers and dessert. Okay. So back in the day, a 42-year-old woman in Brooklyn poisoned a woman who looked just like her, but was about 10 years her junior. And she put a Soviet Union, it's specifically a poison that was used by the Soviet Union. She baked it into a cheesecake.
Hell yes.
Found her doppelganger, served it to her. How crazy is that?
That tends to be a relative, listen, not to reinforce gender roles here. Statistically, that tends to be a pretty common way for women to kill people.
Okay, yeah. When I was doing research on this, I'm oh my gosh, Phantom Thread. I love this.
Wait,
Have you seen Phantom Thread?
No, I missed it. Does that happen? Wow, did you just spoil Phantom Thread for me? Oh my god,
Phantom Thread.
I still haven't seen Marvel Avengers Age of Ultron. I still haven't seen Phantom Thread, and I'm planning on getting to both.
Josh, there's just slight poisoning happening in Phantom Thread.
Damn it, now I know. That's going to ruin the whole thing.
It's going to ruin the whole thing. I thought you...
Wait, why did she kill it? Why did she...
You seem like such a, I don't know, a... What's it called when someone loves to watch movies?
Cinephile.
You seem like such a cinephile.
I'm a cinephile. I go to the theater.
You seem like a PTA fan of Paul Thomas Anderson.
I don't think I've seen... What's the PTA movie that came out? Never seen that. I think
Licorice Pizza.
I saw that one. That's the only one that I've seen. And there was not a single pizza in the entire movie.
Or nor licorice.
Let alone
nor
licorice.
It's wacky. Do you know that there's an actual licorice pizza in the Valley? It's a record.
Yeah.
It's a record store.
Do you know? Because licorice pizza is a slang for a record.
It is?
Because records are they're the shape of a pizza.
Oh yeah.
But they're the color and have the striations of black licorice.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so crazy.
Again, had I known this, I would not have spent $20 to see that movie.
But Josh!
I thought it was about just a young enterprising chef putting licorice on pizza. Go ahead.
Her name was Victoria Nazariova, which means that she's definitely Russian. I just want to know how she got her hands on, what is it? Fenzapam.
Phenazepam?
Phenazepam.
Yeah, phenazepam, man. Yeah, it's a trank, right? It's a really powerful...
Yeah, it's a really powerful tranquilizer.
Kill people with it. Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. It doesn't say necessarily, but... She just had a lookalike. She just casually had a lookalike. Maybe she was a spy. Do you think she was a spy, Josh?
I was hoping you'd know that as the host of the podcast.
I don't know. It doesn't specify that she was a spy or anything, but she stole her passport, her gold ring, cash, and employment card back in Brooklyn in 2018. So this is like a relatively new story.
How would you kill someone?
I don't think I should say that on this podcast.
Why? It's only a problem if you're going to do it.
I'd choke him out.
There have been a fair amount of stories about people tampering with others' food and not realizing the severity of like the crime.
Yes.
Like they're like including a student in a high school just like spit into their teacher's coffee. And they're like, haha, funny joke. And they're like, oh, this is like battery. Like, you can't just do that.
There's this crazy story about a caterer and the bride of a wedding drugging her whole entire wedding party by putting marijuana in it. That is my favorite. That is my favorite true crime story.
Talk about it.
It is the most insane story. So this bride, she's like, oh, let's do a funny joke with the caterer. She's like, I want everyone to just get totally plastered at my wedding. So she infuses the olive oil, the honey, and I believe some other appetizers with marijuana.
And marijuana is a sin, and if you do it once, you will get addicted.
Wait, and then people start calling the police like, I feel like I'm dying. And then they're like, what are you talking about? I don't know, I feel kind of weird. Also, the bride said that she put weed in my chocolate or something.
Yeah.
And then the caterer got arrested and the bride got arrested
Rightfully
too.
so, dude.
Yeah, you can't screw around with people's food, especially speaking of wedding food, you can't do that stuff.
I think
wrong.
One, marijuana, when you infuse it, so cannabinoids are fat soluble, right? So if this is scientific.
I wouldn't know. I have no idea.
This is scientific right here. If you happen to be making edibles, what you need to do is you need to heat the fat up to a certain temperature. That extracts the THC from the cannabinoids. That binds to the fat molecules. That's why all of these infusions are typically made with oil and butter and all that. However, if you don't control for heat, if you don't control for volume, if you don't control for time and dosing, like, you're never going to OD and die on weed, but you will have a really, really terrible dissociative time.
You can like psychosis and stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, like anybody who's had a terrible, terrible edible trip, hypothetically out here, it's like not fun and it can last for days.
Oh my gosh.
And so like messing around with people's food like that, at least now with all the legalized stuff, it's like it's dosed out. It's at least a little bit controlled.
Yeah. There's like a little bit of like standardization that goes into the process.
But when you're running a catering operation, and if you're just making your own infusions and tinctures, and you don't know how much like
oh my gosh,
like they're like how much I got invited to some weed dinner, and I was just like, I don't want to go because if you are infusing like lasagna. One, by the time you eat the lasagna, it's going to be 45 minutes until you're actually stoned. So it's like, why do I want to get stoned after I eat the lasagna? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Totally.
But anywho, trying to control on that because you're like, well, I need to add a little bit more infused olive oil. And, oh, onion just taking a little bit more olive oil.
Oh, it tastes really bad with this. Let me put some more.
Yeah, let me balance it with some more. Like, that to me is just so very, very silly.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think the fact that weed is getting legalized more in states now, you get people like this caterer who are like, ha, 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 fun joke.
Listen.
This is a harmless thing to play with.
Listen, I get it. I've been to weddings with bud tenders before.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But, like, that's on your own volition. Like, you walk up.
Yes.
And they offer it to you. It's not just put in, like, your salad dressing the way that this was. It's very scary.
It is.
Can't trust everybody.
It is. How about pink sauce? That's a good recent food crime.
Is it a crime?
It's not a crime.
Did they go to jail?
No, they did not go to jail. Their products are in Walmart now. But what they were doing, and I don't know if there were ever any charges brought up, but they were like mailing sauces direct to consumer.
Yes.
So for those who don't know the story, there's a chef on TikTok who started making not even a violently pink condiment. It looked like Pepto. It looked like Pepto-Bismol.
It was crazy looking.
And they claimed it was mostly a mixture of mayonnaise and dragon fruit and spices and stuff like that.
I don't believe that for a second.
They showed themselves putting dragon fruit powder into the thing. But you think it was just food dye? On the commercial level, yeah, why are you spending on dragon fruit? Also, dragon fruit
doesn't have much of a taste.
Wouldn't taste good.
Also, dragon fruit, like I saw videos of it being poured on fried chicken. I'm like, mayonnaise, dragon fruit, and fried chicken, huh?
Doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
All right.
But anywho, so they go viral for this pink sauce, and a lot of people reacting equal parts disgust and delight and all that, and they eventually start selling it in a bottle. And they had videos of themselves like at a bottling facility. But none of the details added up because people were taking
caloric details.
Yeah, they had a nutrition label on it that looked like a real nutrition label, and then they would say that there were like 444 servings in like a 12-ounce bottle. And each one had like 9 calories, and people are just like, "What is going on with
They
this?"
just hired someone from Fiverr probably,
I
and
know.
was like, hey, can you make me a label? And they're like, yeah, for sure. That's the only way I could ever, like, from someone who understands research and development and like actually developing these things and talking to food scientists. It's just like so many alarm bells are just going off in my head. Like, there's no way that this was like verified or standardized or anything like that.
No, and there have been other stories in this like direct to consumer, I'm gonna sell you food that I've just made myself thing, but doing it at like a really high level.
Yeah.
Like pink sauce is probably the best example, and now they're in Walmart because controversy just gets more eyeballs, and so now they're selling it.
It's not even pink though. Now it's like a beige. It's like a light beige. It makes me sad.
How have we not gotten pink sauce yet?
I think we need to make our own pink sauce, but like
why not blue sauce?
I was just gonna say, let's do it. I already know how to do it. We're not gonna.
It's gonna be menthol flavored. It's gonna be like a mentholated, like Dentine ice flavored sauce, but you put it on steak.
I was thinking a little bit more of like the blue algae seaweed route.
No, I think it should just be like toothpaste, though. I think. Go on. We all got, that bright blue toothpaste with the sparkles in it?
Sure.
Like
that's
Aquafresh?
My
Or no, it's the Listerine Crest?
It's my favorite.
Why wouldn't you just put that on your food?
Because I have standards. I want mayonnaise with it.
What? Oh, yeah. That makes it an aioli, don't you know?
One of my favorite true crime stories was when I was a kid, and like I would just like, my mom would just have like True Crime Daily going on.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then she would like go and like wash dishes, and I would just sit there and watch. And there was this one video that was like bread squeezers. And I'm like, what? And they're like, if you've seen this going down in the halls of your local grocery store, make sure to call the police or whatever. And it was videos of people taking loaves of bread and squishing them to the point where it would it would turn into mush, and then they would throw it. And then they were just like,
to what end?
Like they were just like being menaces to society, and they were like they were just trying to disturb the peace. I don't know. And then they would literally squish it and throw it and just say, "Oh, I was testing for freshness," and then. I would just watch it, and then whenever I would see my mom, like I would go to the grocery store with my mom, and I would see her squeeze the breads. I'm like, "Mom, don't do that! You're gonna go to jail." So that's my personal true crime story. That's my personal true crime food story.
One of my favorites, Ariana Grande.
Oh, licking the donut?
Ariana Grande licked a donut in Temecula. What was Ariana Grande doing in Temecula? Very unclear. But she said, "I hate America," and then she licked a donut. And that's
Did
a crime.
she get arrested?
No, I don't believe. I think if you just offer to pay for the donut, that's probably not a crime. But I remember that. There was also an NFL player. Hold on, I have to look this up. I think I'm not going to say his name to not perjure myself.
Just say NFL player.
Yeah, it was absolutely Golden Tate. He played for the Eagles. Yeah, Golden Tate. This is just
Go Birds!
So he had. Hold on, I gotta, Nicole, stall them for.
Okay, so back in the days, there was like this crazy story on Snopes.com where they would put bloody syringes into bananas, so no one was allowed to bring bananas to school.
Yeah, so what happened is Golden Tate, when he was a rookie on the Seahawks, tried to go get a donut from a spot called Top Pot Donuts, but they didn't open until 7 a.m.
In
and
Philadelphia?
he was there. No, this is when he was on Seattle.
Oh, sorry.
And yeah, he had a good little run with Philly. But anywho, at 3 a.m., he and his friend broke into it and then just stole maple bars and then walked out. And then he got interviewed for it, and they asked him why, and he just said, they're irresistible. It was kind of a foolish mistake that won't happen again. But if you ever want some maple bars, that's the place to go. He just loved, Nicole, he loved donuts so much.
How much notoriety did that place get?
Probably a lot more. Like, it could have been staged. Who knows? I'm not out here. Golden Tate Gate staging the donuts.
His name is Golden Tate?
Golden Tate, yeah.
Golden first name, Tate last name.
Yeah, great football name.
Should have been Tate Golden.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's Golden Tate.
You need to go change your name now. I would have just...
He's out of the NFL, He had a good career.
What is he doing now?
Run. Oh, I don't know. Golden Tate. If you're out there, dude.
Stealing more donuts from local purveyors, probably.
Honestly, great route and runner. Tough across the middle, but he can still stretch the field. Really big fan of your play style.
Josh, what did we learn from today's podcast?
I think what we learned today, Nicole, is that Jeffrey Dahmer, right?
Really big, true food crime guy.
And that's the one that we deliberately skipped.
Yes. I was thinking of maybe dipping my toe into like the cannibalism side of this.
Well, yeah, there was the Canadian. I know that I'm not a big murder guy. I like cults and I like weird crime capers.
I love all this like murder, cult, like stolen identity, like lying to feeble old men.
I like that, but I don't like the butcher. I don't like the murder of it all. That's the one species that I don't think you should kill and eat is humans. And probably a lot of other ones. Just don't quote me on that.
Specifically humans, you say like
Should not
no.
kill and eat them.
Okay.
Yeah. If they want to be eaten consensually, that's whatever. If they die after, but you shouldn't kill against their consent.
If you want to hear us talk more about cannibalism on the podcast, leave a comment.
There is a Canadian serial killer who was grinding people into sausage and selling it, and they only found out because there was a hepatitis outbreak from the sausage mate.
I do remember this. A Hot Dog is a Sandwich is sponsored by BetterHelp.
When you're at your best, you can do great things, but sometimes life gets you bogged down, and you may feel a little overwhelmed, or like you're not showing up the way that you want to.
Working with a therapist can help you get closer to the best version of you.
Yeah, because when you feel empowered, you're more prepared to take on everything life throws at you.
It's helpful for learning positive coping skills. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. And it isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma.
Hey, but if you got one of those, it can sure help too. And if you're thinking of giving therapy a try, BetterHelp is a great option.
It's convenient, flexible, affordable, and entirely online.
You just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge.
If you want to live a more empowered life, therapy can get you there.
So visit betterhelp.com/hotdog today and get 10% off your first month.
That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/hotdog.
I'm sorry, it's just a baby burp. Just a baby burp. That was a daddy burp.
That was a big brother.
All right, Nicole, we've heard what you and I have to say. Now it's time to find out what other wacky ideas are rattling out there in the universe. It's time for a segment we call Opinions on the Casseroles. Good stuff.
Did you do the hoa?
Hey!
I did it too. Natural singers.
We should have done the metal thing where they just go like, no, that's like 80s hair metal, but like if you go to like new core, no, it's just like, they like make it's like a cat vomiting.
Okay, let's listen to our first
Kind of like corn.
Hey, Josh and Nicole. My name's Faye, and
Hey, Faye.
I wanted to touch base about
I like the name
arugula.
Faye.
Why is it not more loved? Lettuce is so unsuperior whenever you compare it
Ooh.
to arugula. It's got a nice lemony taste, and it's just thebomb.com. So, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Did their phone
Bye.
vibrate?
Faye did not say where they're from, did they? Because that's interesting. So they said, why is arugula not more loved? Because it's better than lettuce.
It is. I love arugula.
Wait, hold on. I thought we were post-arugula. If we're
Never.
talking coastal elite culture, Nicole, of which we are part, we are in Los Angeles, okay?
Yeah?
You grew up in the hills of Beverly. To quote the Beverly Hills.
I was below Sunset. I was not that well off.
Point is, arugula was, you could not avoid
I
arugula
love
like
arugula.
7-8 years ago. It was
It's
a
hot.
huge thing.
Rocket.
Every $16 burger restaurant was putting some sort of like truffle burger with dressed arugula on
Yeah.
there. The burger that changed everything, a restaurant called Father's Office.
That's right.
You can trace the burger revolution to theirs in 1999. It has dressed arugula on it. Arugula was always seen as this kind of like fancy, cool, European type thing. And then I feel like it's somewhat dropped off in popularity. And now I feel like the cooler thing to do is to like make a little bit of a fancy wedge salad on like, ooh, this is heirloom iceberg lettuce.
I disagree. I think it's fancy pink radicchio.
And that people are doing the
Yeah.
radiques now.
Yeah, but no, I love arugula. I always have it in my fridge. I'm the only one who eats it though.
That's so funny. What do you use it for?
Everything. I put it in my scrambles. I make a little salad. I dress.
You'll cook arugula too?
Just warm it through with like my eggs.
Yeah,
in
so
the
like
morning.
slightly wilted, so you still get a little
Yeah,
toothsomeness.
I love its pepperiness. I put it in sandwiches a lot. I think it's delicious.
I don't like though. I love lettuce. I love crunchy lettuce. I love butter lettuce. I love romaine spine, iceberg lettuce. I just eat a lot of because I really love.
You like iceberg lettuce?
I think iceberg
Crunchy
has
water.
a deceptively deep flavor. It's this kind of like
It
nuttiness.
is not
Dude,
deep.
grab some iceberg lettuce.
up.
And I'm not talking to the fancy iceberg. This is from the Smart and Final. No shade. The Smart and Final is walking distance from my apartment. But
Tell me more about your exact location, please.
Oh, great. Yeah. So the
No,
corner of
it's
Pico
okay,
and
no.
Sepulveda, it's a building called Linea.
Oh my God.
I'm moving. Don't move there. Like none of the
Strike that from
you
the
move
record,
there
please.
for the amenities and then none of them work. Like what are we doing?
Amenities are
none of the grills. All the anywho. Point is, I love iceberg lettuce. I love very crunchy lettuce. What I don't like are flat leafy greens.
I
when
like
you eat them raw. To me, it's like your teeth have to grind them. I feel like
That's okay.
I feel like a What are they? Ruminant. I feel like a ruminant. The animals that have to chew food and then they swallow it and then they vomit it back up to re-chew it. That's how I feel.
Chewing cud.
Yeah, Nicole's chewing her cud over here. I was going to say something dirty. But anywho, arugula.
What were you going to say?
Fantastic.
Tell me later.
I was going to call you. Never mind. Arugula is very fancy. I think it's had its moment in the sun. I am glad that, to me as a society, we're post-arugula, and I never necessarily want to go back. I'm here for the iceberg, baby.
I like arugula, and I'll eat it all the time. Thanks, Faye. Also, great name, Faye.
I love Faye,
We need
though.
more Fays in this world.
Great name, Faye. I'm going to name my son Faye.
Hey Josh, hi Nicole. Big
What up?
fan of your podcast. I'm a middle school student in St. Louis.
Oh,
Yes, St. Louis.
Oh, no.
Place
I'm sorry.
Where you always make fun of our pizza.
Oh, no.
I have an unpopular opinion here. I love ketchup on sandwiches, specifically sandwiches with cheese.
okay.
Tell me what you think of this.
Oh, cutie.
Now I feel terrible
You
for
should.
talking
You
smack on
should.
St. Louis.
You should. I always tell you think about the children. You never think
I
about
never
the children.
think about
you
the
always
children.
think about
I'm
yourself.
sorry.
And then there are negative repercussions. This young man called us saying, "Why are you talking smack about my city, fam?"
I'm sorry,
now look at
buddy.
it. Now he puts ketchup on his cheese sandwiches to go. First of all, great opinion. I love. My earring fell off.
It's weird, gross.
I love putting ketchup on my sandwiches. Underrated, great condiment for sandwiches.
I think it's very silly that we accept, well, some people don't accept ketchup on hamburgers and hot dogs, but most people do. We accept that as a society, but then you get this young, impressionable man from St. Louis, which is a great, fine city, and I like truly everything we've said about St. Louis, we're just joking.
Yeah.
All pizza, it's not my...
I've never been, but I'm sure it's great.
Yeah, like even the pizza, it's like, it's not my personal thing, but...
What state is St. Louis? Missouri?
Oh my God.
Missouri?
Yes, it's in Missouri, dude. It's eastern Missouri, and then Kansas City is
What
the major
the hell
city on
do
the
I
west, and
know
then
about
Jefferson City is the capital of Missouri. I don't know how to tell you. Missouri is like a fine big state.
I've never been.
But anywho, everything we say is in jest. St. Louis pizza is not my personal favorite, but it's a perfectly fine and valid style of pizza that a lot of people enjoy. Ketchup on sandwiches, it's a great time. I put ketchup in just a simple burrito of lunch meat, ham, cheese, and eggs today, and that's a fantastic... I put the ketchup in the burrito because I didn't have time to dip.
Yum. Oh.
I think ketchup is a great condiment. I've said this time and time again. It is a very complex sauce. It is sweet. It is umami. It is acidic. It is well spiced with warm spices, and I think it makes a great sandwich condiment, and I think the salty cheese offsets the sweet ketchup. Mwah.
Hi, this is Noel from Seacoast, New Hampshire. Excuse me.
New Hampshire.
And I have an opinion that pizza is not a pie. It is a tart. Think about it. Thank you.
A tart. Okay.
Oh my gosh. What's a freeform tart called again?
Galette.
It's a galette.
It's a galette.
It's a galette.
I could see this. So tart is interesting because if you were to like Google translate what tart in French means, they'd say pie.
Oh.
But like pie to me, especially a sweet fruit pie, is a very uniquely American dish.
Sure.
Obviously, you get the term pie all around in Britain and every Commonwealth country and stuff like that. And you know, they're mostly savory.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
In America, we think of pie as sweet. So pizza pie already is kind of like starting at a weird disadvantage. But tart.
Yeah, it is a pie. Sorry.
I don't believe it's a pie, though. I think they said
think
that
it's a
because
pie.
they needed an easy way to communicate what pizza is. Because
No.
in like the 1950s, it wasn't very
Tomato
common.
pie. Tomato pie.
I accept New Jerseyans calling it tomato pie.
Why?
Because
Well,
they
he's
have their
from
own
New
distinct
Hampshire.
culture.
New Jersey,
It's like
New
how
Hampshire.
we give Aboriginal cultures whaling rights. We give New Jersey the right to call whatever they want, so they just leave us alone. We don't want to interact with the people from Jersey.
You're so shady.
I'm kidding. I spent some time in Ventnor at the Jersey Shore and I had a lovely time. I had the crab fries. Oh, so good.
I've never been to New Jersey, but I think I would thrive there. Something about the hair, the nails, the camaraderie, the family.
New Jersey's a very big,
I
diverse
would do
place as well.
Great in New Jersey.
Big Indian population, New Jersey. A lot of Jews, Italians,
I would
black
do great
folks,
there.
white folks. It's a nice place.
You think I'd do good there?
What?
Do you think I'd do good in New Jersey?
Did you just put on like a sort of fake half Jersey accent?
No!
To ask you like, do you think I do good there? Do you think I do good there in Jersey?
I am trying to get your attention.
You always have my attention. Yes, I think you would do well in New Jersey.
Thank you.
Yeah, you'd be a good mob wife. That's a stereotype from The Sopranos. It's not
You
real.
are the 40th person to say that to me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
Hi, Nicole.
Hi.
Hi, Josh. My name is Anna.
Wow.
And my hot take is that the
no, you
best
two can hang
fruit,
out.
objectively, is lime or limon. That's the green one, not the yellow one.
Ah.
Because you can use it for sweets, you can put it on dessert,
You can make your sour candy. You can make limeade. You can do savory foods, put it on top of a taco. You can use it for cleaning. You can use it as medicine for your throat. It's multifaceted. And that's why it's the best fruit. And it's on my tattoo.
Ooh.
Got a tattoo of the limon. You know what the one thing you can't do with a lime is, though?
Butterfly shrimp, popcorn shrimp.
Lime and potatoes, lime salad. The one thing you can't do with a lime, and I'm not saying you're wrong necessarily, is eat it. You can if you want to.
What are you talking about?
You can't just straight eat. You can't peel a lime and eat it as a snack.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the videos where people will skin a lime, put a bunch of tahini on it? I'm salivating. Tahini and
heavy.
chamoy. And
oh my God.
They put like warhead on it. You never seen those videos?
No, I don't watch this weird sour porn that you do.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Oh God.
I've never done it, but like I could.
So I'm really curious where they're from, because when they call lime limon, different Latin American countries in their different dialects of Spanish have different terms for lime and lemon.
That's
and
true.
This is people from Mexico may rebuff this, but a lot of places do not have a term for lemon. Right. And if you try and translate it across different cultures, different Latin American countries, different states in Mexico, limon to mean lime, limon amarillo to mean lemon. Like there's a lot of weird things, because most people are just like, yeah, we don't mess with lemons. We have limes.
There's
you go to Argentina, they don't mess with limes. They only use lemons.
Is it because of like it's not cultivated there? Like what is the reasoning?
I think it has to do with like you go to Argentina, it's a lot of European population, for a lot of very complex reasons. And yeah, limes are, indigenous to like the Yucatan, Gulf of Mexico area. I agree that limes are super multifaceted.
I love limes.
And I think that there was a lime shortage for a while in Cali, and
you could not
get you had to get lemons at taco trucks, and it doesn't taste right. You make guac with lemon, it does not taste right.
It's crazy. Like it was like what, 75 cents for a lime at that time? That was insane. You know what you do in those situations? You buy a bottle of citric acid. And then you put like a few granules in there in your guacamole with some lemon juice.
Yeah,
and it, like kind of.
To me, like lemon has a sweetness and like a floralness to it, whereas lime has this like
bitterness,
like biting bitterness that's so freaking good,
especially in the zest.
If you had to choose though, one citrus to rule them all, lime or lemon, what would you give up?
What would I give up?
Yeah.
Probably give up limes.
I think I might have to give up limes too, which is a bummer.
Well, I find myself reaching, like with the cuisines I make at home and the recipes I make at home, I find myself reaching for lemons more. Like, for example, if I'm making, I don't know, like salmon, I find myself reaching for lemon. If I'm making a vinaigrette, I find myself reaching for lemon more so than lime. But like, yeah, if I'm making like tacos, like last night we had tacos, I put some some lime juice on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I find myself with the canon of what I cook at home, I'm reaching for lemons more often. But I always have both at home.
Same.
Always got to have both. You never know when you're going to do tequila shots.
I also agreed. And not only that, for me, I probably cook with an equal amount of lime and lemon, because I make a lot of Vietnamese food, and there's like a condiment like nuoc trum that you make with lime, fish sauce, sugar, and garlic and chilies. And I make that a ton. Make a lot of Mexican food at home, so I always use lime. But the kicker for me is cocktails.
Sure, yeah.
I use
always
lemon
entertaining,
significantly more than lime. You say, oh, no, I'm not always entertaining. I'm always drinking alone.
Oh.
But I like to make I like to make myself cocktails, and like lime juice with whiskey, it don't taste right. I drink a lot of dark liquor.
Yeah.
Make a lot of kind of whiskey sour variations, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that'd have to be my kicker. So, but I do agree that the lime is like seriously underrated, especially like Colima limes.
I'm a big Persian lime purchaser for obvious reasons.
I just started thinking about ¿qué es esto?
No
Jamón del mar. Jamón del mar, smoked marlin.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Ham
we
of
had
the
that
sea.
together. That was delicious.
Oh, smoked marlin with cheese, and you squeeze lime juice on that.
That's really good.
That
That's
is
a good
just like
bite of food.
So
Good
much just
bite of
salt,
food.
smoke, fat, acid, pow, bitter. Hot damn, I'm horny.
Josh and Nicole.
What?
You were just saying words, so I said our names.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I forgot I blacked out there.
I noticed.
And on that note, thank you for listening to A Hot Dog is a Sandwich. Nicole's doing an interpretive dance over here. If you want to hear more from us in the Mythical Kitchen, check us out on YouTube where we launch new videos every week.
If you want to be featured on opinions or sorry, I was so deep in my dance, I forgot what I was saying. If you want to be featured on opinions or like casseroles, thank you, Josh. You can hit us up on Twitter at Mythical Chef with Josh and Hendizada, that's me, with the hashtag opinion casserole. Or if you want to leave us a voicemail, give us a ring and leave a quick message at 833-DOGPOD1.
That's 833-DOGPOD1. We're wet. And for more Mythical Kitchen, check us out on YouTube where we launch new videos every week. I already said that, but you know the deal.